The April Revolution revealed all the problems, contradictions, and conflicts in the society, including the interethnic relations. We have lost our hundreds of innocent people. Fires destroyed thousands of homes and small businesses. We have managed, with the help of friendly countries and international donors, to avert a humanitarian catastrophe. However, it is too early to speak about the sustainable peace and harmony in the society. It takes years and years to complete reconciliation, to return to a peaceful and calm peace and life. Here I would like to thank the government of Turkey, which has initiated first the conference in Kyrgyzstan for the reconciliation processes. Ladies and gentlemen, transitional term means adoption of new constitution and changing model of governance, holding transparent and democratic parliamentary elections, forming of the executive branch of power in line with new constitution, and reforming the judiciary system while making free of corruption individuals. The last stage is the presidential elections, which will take place on 30th October, just this Sunday, and founding of the peaceful power transmission tradition in our country. Thus, the legitimization of all system of this state governance will be completed. The new constitution, approved at the referendum on 27 June 2010, institutes the first parliamentarian republic in Central Asia. The interim government, only 3 months after accession to power, has transmitted its mandate to the elected president and take-care government. All political parties, including oppositional and those representatives of troop regime, have had freedom for the participation in these elections. This began the new form of political culture in the country. We have been shown in the region a sample of free and fair election, and highly appreciated and accepted by the international community. The caretaker government succeeded in coping with its task. The year was closed without internal debt. Wages, pensions, and allowance were paid in time and fully, and GDP only declined by 1.2%, while the socio-economic situation got stabilized. Thus, the government that was formed by the coalition majority of the parliament at the end of the year obtained good conditions for launching its work, with the new year was started particularly from the clean state. Nevertheless, the coalition government started its duties in the tough post-crisis period and applied incredible efforts in order to keep socio-economic stability and sustain the challenges of the vital decision on the issues of raising living standards for population, yet also dealing with the burden of the previous years. Unfortunately, during the last 20 years, we lost more than benefited and destroyed rather than constructed due to the reshuffling of the economic reforms. Often following the blindfold receipts, we practically lost a national industry. Total privatization took us the real deindustrialization of the country, and now the productive capacities of giant industries destroyed or reprofiled for the different markets. The last 20 years we spent not only for dismantling but also for established the new productions on the ruins of previous years, thanks to the energy, hard work, and bold ideas of hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs. Today we can see clearly the outlines of the progress in transport, energy, mining industry, and agriculture sector of national economy. We see a rebuilding of clothing industry with 300,000 strong labor force, and gaining our country branding in the new foreign markets is a brilliant example of our growth. The telecommunications industries average annual 20% of growth, and our programmers successfully work as outsourced specialists for the world's big companies, demonstrate the great capacity of the economy that remains to be tapped. Here is a few figures on the economic development today. During the first half of this year, the GDP growth was 5.5%. That was achieved due to the rise of the industrial productions turnover, with the growth rate 14%, and the growth commodities and services turnover with the growth of 3.5%. The agriculture production grew as well. There has been considerable improvement in the national revenue generation during the first half of the year. The total volume of taxes collected grew by 25%, and those of the custom duties by 46%. The forecasts of the government are optimistic and regards to the financial results of this year. Most importantly, the government is to maintain the trends and growth rates in the economy. The unprecedented increased wages for social sphere workers has been the most significant decision of this year. Our teachers, doctors, artisans, and junior serving staff received the wages of 3 and 4 times higher than before. The government is planning the next stage of increasing the pensions and allowances. The budget has become social oriented, and the social sector expenditures account for 41% of total charges. Today, a top priority task of governance is recovery of people trust and respect to authorities, not only towards the head of state, but also to the parliament, to the government, to the judicial system, to the law enforcement bodies and local administrations. The lack of trust got accumulated not only in 1 year, and its remedy may take more than 1 year. I would like to note that the parliamentary system of the governance has considerably maintained the transparency, accountability to the authorities, to the society, despite a seeming chaos, lack of the systematic approach, and to recruiting public scandals. The long-awaited change of the governing personnel, including some ministers and some other high positions, began to take shape. To ensure transparency of the activities of the ministries and departments, we have begun to establish public supervisory boards. This is a new institution, and a lot of work is yet to be done for it to take roots of the achieves relevant effect. However, the efforts of public supervisory board membership are pleasant in the field of the budgetary transparency, the openness of the law enforcement agencies, and the information accessibility to the civil society and to the civil society members. In the center of public attention this day is the reform of judicial system. Over the past 20 years, attempts were made to reform the judicial system, but all of them were halted, and everything was done to keep the judiciary in the bridle. The controllability of the judicial system became a custom. The judges are instructed on decision to be made by not only by the phone, but by the invitations of the high offices. Corruption of the courts has undermined the fairness in the society, put down to the slope not only the economic future, but the entire constitutional system of the country. Immediately, the next day after the 7th April, provisional government was under the pressure from large numbers of complaints, unjust decisions of the courts of the red tape. We dissolved the Constitutional Court, dismissed 10 judges of the Supreme Court. More than 40 local judges were released, so began with the processes of cleansing the system of dishonest judges. Today we have historical opportunity to really upgrade the judiciary, open the way for an honest, highly professional, always improving and growing indifferent citizens to all levels of judicial power. The country has 10,000 people without good experience in various legal specializations, including more than 2,800 licensed lawyers. Our universities annually release more than 4,000 lawyers in the different fields. The people have high demands on the authorities and some expectations that have not been betrayed. They paid for these changes at high price, over hundreds of lives of its heroes, in order to raise the authority of the courts, and they are now at the lower rows of the pool information that the courts have become the skeleton of the law and support the human rights. We need strong mass appeal, the formation of new judiciary, scrapping a corporate ligaments, corruption schemes, and phone law political patronage. We are told that the courts are just as the society is. Yet people are fed up with the current system of justice. We believe that success of and the country's stability and its future is firmly connected with the fair courts. In few days, the presidential election will take place. The high stakes and the rush around the presidential post clearly demonstrate the critical significance rather than magnificence of this position within the power structure. Even long before the election race, some of its participants declared their critical views about the new constitution and the necessity of changing the form of governance.